Let's get some reaction, though, from the Muslim community here in Britain. We can speak to Mohammed Shafiq. He's from the Ramadan Foundation. He joins us now live from our studios in Birmingham. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Do your members understand Israel's right of self-defence in this war?
Well, this reaction from Israel, the Nazi-like regime, is bombarding Gaza today and has been done for 8 days, is genocide. There's no two ways about that. You either value human life or you don't. And what is happening in Gaza is a war crime, and Israel is complicit in that. Our country, the British government, the Western countries that are standing by silently are also complicit in that. They should hang their heads in shame, and we should stop the violence. We should stop the killing of innocent people, children dying on the streets of Gaza, and they should return back to peace. And that can't come unless Israel recognises that it's breaking international law and international treaties.
What about Israel's right, though, to defend itself? The Czech presidency of the European Union seems to go along with that, and even Barack Obama has been quoted as saying that he understands while that he wouldn't tolerate rocket attacks on towns like Sderot in Israeli territory.
Let's get away from this notion, this fiction, that Gaza has been a place of peace. Over the past few years, Gaza has been under blockade. No humanitarian aid has been able to get in. The economy has been totally collapsed, and the Gazan people have been oppressed. And in that circumstances, these people are fighting for their freedom, they're fighting for justice, and they're fighting to protect their lives. And the Israelis can put on their flashy spokespeople and claim that they're doing it as a matter of self-defense. How can you justify using F-16 planes, Apache helicopters against defenseless children as young as 2 months? I mean, there's no justification for it whatsoever.
Isn't that a question, though, for the Hamas leaders as well, by goading Israel into taking action like this? And just on the point of humanitarian aid, some humanitarian aid has got in despite the blockade. Just to perhaps correct you on that.
Well, I mean, some may have got in recently, but it's very limited in terms of there's no bread, there's no medicine, you know, hospitals are running out of materials. I accept that we've all got to take some responsibility in making sure that we move towards a process where the people of Gaza can live in peace. But that can't happen until the genocide stops. And actually, it can't happen until the Palestinian people are free to decide who their government is. And Western countries have to accept that if the Palestinians elect Hamas as their government, then we should respect that and try to work with the Hamas government. What's happening here is that we're holding millions of Gazans responsible for the actions of a small minority, and that's absolutely wrong. Human life, Tim, is sacred, whether it be human life being lost in the streets of London, New York, or Gaza, or anywhere else in the world.
How united, though, is the Muslim community on this issue? I mean, are there different constituencies that perhaps you're seeing in terms of age in relation to this conflict?
From my point of view, young Muslims are absolutely saddened, they're angry, they're frightened, and they're crying out for the British government to show some equality when it comes to foreign policy. They're crying out for the Muslim countries around the world that are sitting in their capitals silent. And it's actually young Muslims that are potentially, as a result of this aggression, being able to be brainwashed by extremists. We've got to see the British government show some equality when it comes to foreign policy. We've got to see a stop to the aggression, a stop to the genocide, and we've got to ensure that the Gazan people are free to choose their future.
But the problem is surely that this is far more nuanced than you are suggesting. When you look at the Arab world's response to that, there is no unity, there is no common unity of purpose there, because the fact that the Palestinian movement is so divided, and they both represent different attitudes toward democracy and Israel.
Well, I think what needs to happen is that the Palestinian Liberation Organization chief Mahmoud Abbas needs to call elections, fresh elections, after this particular crisis, and then for it to be a fair and open, transparent election. And if Hamas is re-elected, then the Western countries should actually reach out to Hamas and start working with Hamas. You can't have peace with preconditions on the table.
Okay, Mohammed Shafiq, we must leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Mohammed Shafiq from the Ramadan Foundation speaking to us from Birmingham.